Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we sift through all those sources, the articles, the studies, your notes, and really pull out the essential knowledge you need fast. So if you're thinking about longevity, staying independent, or just feeling more vital, especially past 60, well, this one's definitely for you.
Yeah.
Today, we're zeroing in on something really accessible, surprisingly powerful: daily green tea. The health benefits are, frankly, pretty profound, according to our sources.
That's absolutely right. I mean, it's been a cornerstone in Asian cultures for, centuries? But it feels like modern science is only just now catching up, really quantifying the systemic effects.
Systemic is the key word there.
Yeah, the sources aren't just positioning it as a healthy drink. They're framing it more like a foundational shield, something that protects against the core mechanisms of aging itself.
And it's not just one thing, is it? The breadth of it is what's striking. We're going to trace how this simple drink connects to, the brain, the heart, joints, metabolism, even cancer risk.
It's a truly systemic intervention. So our mission today really is to unpack the science behind it. We need to focus on the star player, this molecule called epigallocatechin galat, EGCG for short.
Right, EGCG.
It's a type of antioxidant, a catechin found in plants, but the way it behaves in our bodies, it's kind of revolutionary.
And there's that aha moment you mentioned earlier tied into this.
Exactly. You start to see why maybe, just maybe, pharmaceutical companies aren't shouting this from the rooftops.
Because if something cheap and readily available works on multiple systems at once,
it challenges the whole model, right? The model of treating individual symptoms with expensive targeted drugs. Think about it. If EGCG can help with inflammation, blood sugar, and brain health, that potentially replaces several prescriptions.
That's a massive implication, both for health and, economics.
Yeah.
It really suggests that sometimes these incredibly complex aging problems might respond to simpler foundational shifts.
Precisely. We're looking for those sustainable, system-wide answers to what everyone worries about, right? Losing memory, losing independence, those constant aches and pains.
The fear of decline.
That's it. And this isn't about a quick fix. It's about building a daily habit, a non-negotiable ritual that supports everything. And the sources are clear. The benefits often start where the feel is strongest: cognitive health.
Okay, let's start right there then. Brain health. You mentioned the EGCG shield. What makes this EGCG so special? Why isn't it just like, say, taking a vitamin C pill?
Good question. The really unique thing about EGCG, especially for the brain, is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier.
The BBB, the brain's bodyguard.
Exactly. It's the super selective filter protecting the brain from toxins, pathogens, you name it. Most things circulating in your blood just can't get through.
Including a lot of potentially beneficial compounds, even drugs.
Right. It's a major biological hurdle.
Yeah.
But EGCG, it's structured in a way small enough, hydrophobic enough that it can actually slip past that barrier.
Okay, so it gets inside the VIP section. What does it do once it's there?
It goes to work protecting the neurons. Its main job seems to be shielding brain cells from oxidative stress and inflammation.
Which you often hear called the kind of twin engines driving age-related memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's.
Absolutely. Think of oxidative stress like rust building up in the brain's machinery. Brains use a ton of energy, and that process creates byproducts, free radicals that damage cells over time.
Okay.
And inflammation is the body's response to that damage. But when it's chronic low-level inflammation, it starts damaging healthy tissue too. It becomes part of the problem.
So EGCG steps in how?
It acts like a molecular firefighter. It neutralizes those damaging free radicals before they cause harm. And at the same time, it seems to calm down those inflammatory signals, sort of dampening that chronic fire that messes up brain networks.
That's a really fundamental level of protection. It leads us perfectly into one of the case studies from the sources.
Yeah.
Harold, tell us his story.
Yeah, Harold's story is powerful because it's so relatable. 82, retired engineer, Pennsylvania. He was experiencing that slow creep of cognitive decline that terrifies people.
Not just misplacing keys, but deeper stuff.
Deeper stuff. Forgetting grandkids' names mid-conversation. Getting up, walking into a room, and just blanking. Absolutely no idea why he was there. That kind of disorienting confusion.
Oh, that's tough. And the doctor's diagnosis.
The usual, unfortunately, age-related memory impairment, which often sounds more like a sentence than a diagnosis.
Right. Medication was on the table.
It was suggested, yeah. But his daughter, she's a nurse, and she keeps up with research on more holistic approaches. She persuaded him to try something really basic. 3 cups of high-quality green tea every single day.
And she treated it like medicine.
Exactly like medicine. Non-negotiable. 3 months commitment.
Did you see results quickly?
Not instantly. The data suggests it's cumulative, builds up over time. But after about 6 weeks or so, his daughter noticed real changes. Subtle at first.
Like what?
He started remembering details from conversations better, without that long, searching pause. Finding his keys more often, sure, but the big one for him, being an engineer.
Ah, the strategy.
His card games, his strategic thinking, his recall during his weekly games, it got sharper. He could hold those complex plans in his head again.
That's a tangible difference.
Yeah.
And it lines up with the bigger population studies, doesn't it? Particularly those from Japan.
Oh, absolutely. The Japan studies are key because green tea is just part of the culture there, consumed consistently over lifetimes.
And the numbers are pretty staggering.
They really are. Those studies show seniors drinking 3 or more cups daily has something like a 54% lower risk of cognitive decline compared to folks drinking less than 1 cup.
54%. You almost never see numbers like that from a simple dietary change. But the obvious question, are these people just healthier overall? Maybe green tea drinkers also exercise more, eat better, confounding factors.
That's the critical question, always. And good large-scale studies account for that. They use statistical models to adjust for lifestyle factors: diet, exercise, smoking, socioeconomic status, all of it.
So they try to isolate the tea's effect.
Exactly. And the evidence strongly suggests that EGCG provides a protective benefit independent of those other factors. It's like you're deploying this daily defense mechanism, specifically targeting that oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain. Proactive protection.
Okay, so if it's shielding the brain from that rust, it makes sense to look at the heart next. The cardiovascular system faces a similar onslaught of damage over time, right?
Definitely the next critical area. And the stakes are incredibly high. As we age, arteries naturally get stiffer, less flexible. They become much more susceptible to plaque buildup.
And the stats are grim.
They really are. After 65, cardiovascular disease isn't just a leading cause of death, it's the leading cause. More than cancer, accidents, infections combined. That really hammers home why heart health is so central to longevity.
We hear so much about cholesterol. Get your LDL down, take statins. But the sources make a distinction. It's not just cholesterol, it's damaged cholesterol.
That is such a crucial point, and it's often missed. Cholesterol itself, we need it. It builds cells. The problem is LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, after it gets damaged by free radicals. That's what we call oxidized cholesterol.
Okay, so the free radicals make the LDL sticky. Is that a fair way to put it?
That's a great analogy. Think of healthy LDL like smooth marbles rolling through your arteries. Oxidized LDL,
Marbles.
covered in glue.
Wow.
When LDL gets oxidized, the body kind of freaks out, sees it as an invader. This kicks off inflammation right there in the artery wall, leading to these things called foam cells, which eventually harden into plaques, neuroarteries, heart attacks, strokes. It all starts there.
So the goal isn't just fewer marbles, it's preventing them from getting sticky and damaged.
Precisely. Stops the damage before it starts the whole cascade.
And this is where EGCG comes in again, acting as that antioxidant shield.
Exactly. These catechins are potent antioxidants circulating in your bloodstream. They essentially intercept and neutralize the free radicals that would otherwise attack and oxidize the LDL.
So it stops the sticky plaque process before it even begins.
Right. It's preventative maintenance at the cellular level for your entire vascular system.
That's a really powerful idea. Let's connect it to Martha. She was 68, a former nurse, facing exactly this cholesterol dilemma.
Martha's case is so common. Her cholesterol numbers were climbing, doctors were pushing statins, but she was hesitant. As a nurse, she had seen the side effects firsthand.
The muscle pain, memory fog, liver issues.
All of it. She felt like there had to be a better way, that health shouldn't involve those kinds of trade-offs.
So she turned to green tea, a similar routine.
She committed to 4 cups of high-quality green tea every day, and the results were pretty impressive. Within about 4 months, her LDL dropped 18 points.
18 points is significant.
It is, but it wasn't just the cholesterol. The systemic effect that reduction in inflammation seemed to help her blood pressure too. It went from borderline high down to completely normal. Her doctor was reportedly quite surprised.
You can imagine, a simple tea delivering results you usually expect from potent drugs. And again, this isn't just Martha. There's large-scale data like that big Netherlands study.
Oh yeah, the Netherlands study is massive. Over 40,000 people followed for years. It's incredibly compelling.
And the findings.
People who consistently drank 3 to 6 cups of tea daily had a 45% lower risk of dying from heart disease compared to those drinking less than 1 cup a day.
45% lower risk of dying from heart disease. That's huge. Almost cutting the risk in half.
It really underscores the long-term, sustained protective effect of these compounds on the vascular system over decades.
Okay, so we've got the brain shielded, the heart protected. But what about the stuff that really impacts day-to-day life for so many seniors? The aches, the pains, the stiffness. If EGCG fights inflammation systemically, it must help joints too.
Absolutely connects. Chronic inflammation and joint pain are huge quality of life destroyers. That daily reality for so many people, aching knees, stiff hands first thing in the morning, having to mentally brace yourself just to stand up. It's often just accepted as, oh, I'm just getting old.
The sources use that analogy of inflammation being like rust spreading through a machine.
Yeah.
Affecting everything.
It's a really good analogy because it is systemic. It hits the brain, the heart, the immune system, even increases cancer risk. It accelerates aging across the board.
And the irony is, the common go-to for joint pain relief and NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen carry their own risks for older adults.
A cruel irony, exactly. You're trying to ease your joint pain, but especially with long-term use, those drugs increase the risk of stomach ulcers, kidney damage, even heart attacks.
So you trade knee relief for potentially serious organ damage. Not ideal. How does green tea approach joint inflammation differently without those side effects?
It seems to work more deeply at the cellular source. EGCG doesn't just mask pain, it actually modulates the immune system's inflammatory response.
How so?
It reduces the production of those inflammatory messenger proteins, cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6, that tell the joints to swell up and hurt.
So it's like telling the body's alarm system to calm down a bit.
Kind of, yeah. But even more importantly, it seems to dial down the activity of enzymes that actively break down cartilage in the joints, things called matrix metalloproteinases.
Yeah, okay. So it's not just stopping the pain signals, it's actually helping protect the cartilage itself.
That seems to be the key difference. It dampens the inflammation and supports the body's own maintenance and repair mechanisms for the joint structure. It's addressing the root cause.
That brings us to Robert, 71, former marathon runner. He definitely needed cartilage help.
Robert's story is about loss of mobility, really. He'd been active his whole life, loved running, but severe knee pain had basically sidelined him, reduced him to just gentle walks.
He described it as feeling like grinding bone on bone.
Yeah, just agony. He felt resigned to it. He'd tried the usual supplements, prescription anti-inflammatories. Nothing really worked long-term.
Suggests those weren't hitting the underlying breakdown.
Seems that way. So, almost as a last resort, based on a physical therapist's suggestion, he committed to 5 cups of high-quality green tea a day. Skeptical but disciplined about it.
5 cups is a commitment. And the results?
Pretty remarkable, showing that power of sustained cellular change. Within about 3 weeks, the first thing he noticed was the morning stiffness. It used to last for hours, getting going awful. Suddenly, it was down to just minutes.
That's a big shift in daily experience.
Huge. The stiffness wasn't totally gone, but the intensity, the duration, radically different. And then, 6 months into this daily ritual,
He ran again.
he completed a 5K race, something he honestly thought was completely impossible just half a year earlier.
That's incredible. And there was objective proof too, right?
Right.
Blood tests.
Yes, that's crucial. His blood work showed his inflammatory markers, specifically C-reactive protein CRP, had dropped by more than 40%.
Let's just pause on that. A 40% drop in CRP. What does that really mean in terms of overall health?
CRP is like a general indicator of inflammation levels throughout your entire body. It's made by the liver when there's inflammation anywhere. So a 40% drop isn't trivial. It's a sign that the total inflammatory load, that systemic rust, was significantly reduced.
So the benefits weren't just in his knees.
Exactly. It means his heart, his brain, his immune system, everything was experiencing less inflammatory stress. That's the systemic effect right there.
That reduction in systemic stress leads us straight into maybe the most feared aspect of aging, cancer, and also the metabolic health that's so vital for staying independent.
Yeah, this is where EGCG really shows its versatility. Cancer risk, unfortunately, does climb significantly after 60. But, and this is important, the sources stress that many cancers are influenced by lifestyle, meaning they are potentially preventable.
And EGCG plays a role in that prevention. How can a T compound target cancer cells specifically?
The mechanisms are complex, but lab studies and population data point to a few key actions. First, catechins, especially EGCG, seem to inhibit the growth and spread of early cancer cells.
Okay, slows them down.
Second, they interfere with angiogenesis. That's the process where tumors try to grow their own new blood vessels to get nutrients. EGCG seems to disrupt that, sort of cutting off their supply lines.
Starving the tumor. And there's a third action.
Yes, and it's pretty dramatic. It's called inducing apoptosis.
Programmed cell death.
Right. Basically, forcing defective or damaged cells to self-destruct, which is a normal, healthy process that often goes haywire in cancer. EGCG seems to help restore that self-destruct signal in cancerous cells, importantly, while leaving healthy cells unharmed. It's quite targeted.
A multi-pronged defense. And the big picture data supports this. You mentioned that huge meta-analysis.
Yeah, 22 studies, over 1.6 million people analyzed together. The finding was that each extra cup of green tea per day was linked to about a 2% lower overall cancer risk.
2% per cup. Doesn't sound massive on its own, but
you multiply that by 3, 4, 5 cups a day, every day, for years, decades. The cumulative protection becomes really substantial.
And were there specific cancers where the effect was stronger?
Yes. The sources noted particularly pronounced protective effects for esophageal, prostate, and colorectal cancers, all major concerns for the aging population.
That knowledge itself can be powerful, like Patricia's story.
Right, Patricia. 73, librarian, carried a high-risk gene mutation for breast cancer, living with that constant anxiety.
Understandable.
Then she read research suggesting women drinking 3 or more cups daily might have a 20-30% lower risk, so she made green tea her daily ritual. For her, it wasn't just about the potential risk reduction, it was about taking action. Doing something proactive gave her back a sense of control, lessened the fear.
That sense of agency is so important. And it brings us to metabolic health, which is absolutely fundamental if you want to stay physically independent as you age.
Totally fundamental. It's not just about preventing disease, it's about having the energy, retaining muscle, avoiding the complications of diabetes that can lead to vision loss, nerve damage, mobility issues.
And the challenge is metabolism naturally slows down after 60. Cells can become insulin resistant.
Setting the stage for type 2 diabetes, it's a common trajectory.
So how does green tea step in here? We know it fights inflammation and oxidation, but how does it help metabolically?
It seems to have this really neat triple action. First, EGCG appears to boost fat oxidation, meaning your body gets better at burning stored fat for energy.
Which is great as baseline metabolism drops, more stable energy.
Exactly. Less reliance on sugar, more sustained energy. Plus, as you hinted earlier, less body fat often means less strain on joints. It all connects.
Right. What's the second action?
Improving insulin sensitivity. It helps your cells listen better to the insulin signal, so glucose gets moved out of the blood and into the cells for energy more efficiently, prevents that chronic high blood sugar.
Okay, better fat burning, better insulin response. And third,
there's evidence it might actually reduce carbohydrate absorption directly in the gut.
Whoa, so less sugar even gets into the bloodstream to begin with.
That seems to be part of it. It effectively eases the load on your whole system.
That combination sounds incredibly powerful for someone on the edge, like George, 76, pre-diabetic.
George was definitely heading towards full-blown type 2 diabetes, according to his numbers. He knew what that meant long-term, his plan. 4 cups of green tea daily, plus some modest diet changes, and nothing extreme.
And they tracked his progress with the A1C test.
Yep, the hemoglobin A1C, that's the key measure for long-term blood sugar control, reflects the average over months. 6 months after starting the green tea ritual,
What happened?
his A1C dropped from 6.2, which is solidly in the pre-diabetic range, down to 5.6. That moved him completely out of the danger zone, back into the normal range, a huge shift.
Primarily driven by the tea and small diet tweaks. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And again, large-scale evidence.
Yes, another big meta-analysis, this time of 17 trials, found that regular green tea drinkers had a striking 42% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
Wow, 42%. Given how widespread diabetes is, that's a massive potential impact.
It really makes a strong case for EGCG's role in metabolic resilience.
Okay, so these benefits are clearly cumulative, touching basically every major internal system. But you can't ignore the outside. Does all this internal health translate to, well, looking better, external vitality, skin health?
It absolutely does. Those visible signs of aging, the sunspots, wrinkles, loss of firmness, are often just the outward manifestation of that same oxidative stress and inflammation we've been talking about internally.
So green tea works on skin from the inside out, and maybe even topically.
Both ways, it seems. Consumed internally, those polyphenols act as antioxidants, protecting skin cells from damage. They also seem to support collagen production, which is key for skin structure and firmness.
Okay.
And applied topically, studies show green tea extracts can help protect against UV damage, reduce wrinkle appearance, and even calm inflammatory skin conditions like rosacea.
So it's building a more resilient skin barrier.
Essentially, yes. Like the anecdote about Evelyn, 69. After consistently drinking green tea for 3 months, she felt her skin looked more radiant, age spots seemed lighter, and her dermatologist apparently noted less sun damage than expected for her age and history.
Less internal inflammation equals healthier looking skin. Makes sense. But all of this hinges on getting enough of that active compound, EGCG, which means quality matters a lot.
This is probably the most critical takeaway for anyone wanting to try this. You absolutely cannot expect these kinds of results from grabbing the cheapest box of dusty tea bags off the supermarket shelf.
Why not?
Because the catechins, including EGCG, degrade over time. They oxidize, they break down, especially with poor storage and packaging. You end up with very little active compound left.
So you need fresh, high-quality tea. What should people look for?
The sources consistently point towards high-quality, loose-leaf green teas, especially Japanese varieties like sencha or gyokuro, and then there's matcha.
Okay, let's assume you've got the good stuff. You can't just pour boiling water on it, can you? I hear that ruins it.
Correct. Boiling water actually scorches the delicate catechins and extracts too many bitter tannins. You lose the benefits and get a nasty taste. You need to let the water cool down a bit.
To what temperature?
The sweet spot is generally between 160 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 70 to 80 Celsius. That maximizes EGCG extraction without burning it.
And how long should you steep it? I usually just do a minute or two.
For therapeutic benefits, you need to go longer. Aim for 3 to 5 minutes. That gives the water enough time to draw out those beneficial compounds effectively.
Okay, 160, 180 degrees, 3 to 5 minutes. Now, you mentioned matcha as being special.
Matcha is kind of the powerhouse. Because it's a fine powder of the entire tea leaf, you ingest everything. You're not just drinking an infusion, you're consuming the whole leaf.
So you get way more EGCG.
Massively more. Some estimates say up to 137 times the EGCG of regular brewed green tea from the same amount of leaf. If you're aiming for a serious therapeutic dose, matcha is the most efficient way to get there.
Got it. So quality tea, brewed correctly, but the final piece, the absolute non-negotiable according to all these stories and studies, is consistency, right? And timing.
Consistency is everything. This isn't like taking an aspirin for a headache. It doesn't work sporadically. The benefits are cumulative.
You have to build it up in your system.
Exactly. You need to maintain those therapeutic levels of EGCG in your brain tissue, your joint cartilage, your arteries, day after day. Think back to Harold, Martha, Robert's store. They all committed for at least 3 months before seeing those really obvious, measurable changes. It requires patience and ritual.
Like taking a daily prescription, seriously.
Precisely. And then there's timing, optimizing when you drink it.
What's the advice there?
Best absorption seems to be first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Then drinking it between meals, not right with food, helps avoid the tannins interfering with nutrient absorption, especially iron.
Okay, empty stomach, between meals. Anything else?
Yeah, a practical one. Try to avoid it after about 4 p.m. Green tea does have some caffeine, not a huge amount, but enough that it could interfere with getting that deep, restorative sleep.
And good sleep is crucial for aging well, too.
Absolutely foundational. You don't want your healthy tea habit messing up your sleep quality.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. We've gone deep into how this one simple, accessible drink, green tea, seems linked to a whole cascade of benefits for aging well.
Yeah, clearer thinking, a more protected heart, less joint pain, more stable energy and blood sugar, even potentially lowering risk for major diseases like cancer and diabetes.
Based on everything we've looked at from the sources, it really does seem like one of the safest, most well-researched, and frankly effective things someone can do systemically.
The commitment, 3 to 5 cups a day of the good stuff, brewed right, feels pretty minimal compared to the potential payoff in terms of long-term health, independence, and just feeling better day to day.
So the challenge emerging from all this is pretty clear. If you're serious about this, commit to that ritual. 3 to 5 cups. High quality, daily, for at least 90 days. Treat it like it matters.
And one final really important point. Because green tea is powerful, if you are on medications, especially blood thinners like warfarin, you absolutely need to talk to your doctor before starting a high-dose green tea routine.
Not because it's dangerous on its own, but because it can interact.
Exactly. It can affect how those medications work, potentially requiring adjustments. It's a sign of its potency, not a danger in itself for most people, but medical supervision is key there.
Right.
And it leaves you with this provocative thought, doesn't it? We're always searching for the next big breakthrough, the complex pill, the expensive treatment, the fountain of youth. What if a significant part of it has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years in a simple teacup?
Yeah.
If one beverage can positively influence the immune system, protect cells from damage, reduce oxidation across, 5 or 6 major body systems simultaneously, what does that really tell us about the power of these simple natural interventions that maybe we're still too quick to dismiss as just folk remedies? Something definitely worth thinking about.